The Galactic Academy's sprawling campus hummed with the chatter of 1,000 different species, each speaking in their native tongues, while universal translators worked overtime. Raza Chen adjusted his human-sized backpack and tried to ignore the stares that followed him down the crystalline corridors. Being one of only 12 humans accepted into the prestigious institution made him a curiosity at best, a target at worst. Anna Volkov walked beside him, her auburn hair catching the artificial sunlight streaming through the dome overhead. She carried herself with the quiet confidence that had made her the unofficial leader of their small human contingent. "Remember," she whispered, "we're representing our entire species here." Raza nodded, though his jaw tightened. 3 months into their first year, and the novelty of being the primitive mammals hadn't worn off. The Zephyrians found their emotional responses amusing. The crystalline collective thought their carbon-based biology was quaint, but it was the Vraxians who posed the real problem. As if summoned by his thoughts, a massive shadow fell across their path. Thoknavar, a Vraxian in his equivalent of adolescence, stood 7 feet tall with chitinous armor plating and mandibles that could crack steel. His species had conquered 17 star systems through brute force alone, and he never let anyone forget it. "Well, well," Thoknavar's translator rendered his clicking speech into sardonic standard. "The little mammals scurry to their next class. Tell me, softskins, have you learned anything useful, or are you still struggling with basic quantum mechanics?" Anna stepped slightly forward. "We're doing fine, thank you. Perhaps you should focus on your own studies instead of harassing classmates." Thoknavar's mandibles spread in what passed for a grin among his kind. Several other Vraxians emerged from the crowd, forming a semicircle around the 2 humans. Students from other species quickly found reasons to be elsewhere. "Harassing?" Thoknavar's laugh was like grinding metal. "I'm simply curious about your species' famous resilience. Your instructors speak of it constantly, yet I see nothing but weak flesh and brittle bones." Without warning, his primary arm shot out and grabbed Raza by the shoulder. The Vraxian's grip could have crushed Durasteel, and Raza felt his collarbone creak under the pressure. But instead of crying out, instead of begging for release, something else happened. Raza's hand moved with lightning speed, striking 3 precise points on Thoknavar's extended arm. The massive alien's grip immediately loosened as his limb went numb. Before anyone could react, Raza had pivoted, used the alien's own momentum against him, and sent all 7 feet of armored Vraxian crashing to the ground with a technique that was purely, uniquely human. The courtyard fell silent. Anna stepped over Thoknavar's prone form, her voice carrying in the sudden quiet. "You wanted to understand human resilience? Let me explain something about our species." She gestured to where Raza stood, completely unharmed, despite facing a creature that could have torn him apart. "We didn't conquer other worlds through superior technology or brute strength. We conquered our own world first, a planet that tried to kill us every single day. We survived ice ages, plagues, predators, and disasters that would have ended most species." Thoknavar struggled to his feet, his arm still partially paralyzed, his black eyes fixed on Raza with something that might have been newfound respect. "Every human child learns to fight," Anna continued. "Not because we're violent, but because we had to. Our weak flesh learned to move faster than creatures with natural armor. Our brittle bones learned to bend instead of breaking. And our minds, our supposedly primitive minds, learned to turn physics itself into a weapon." Raza helped dust off his jacket, seemingly unbothered by the encounter. "It's called martial arts," he said quietly. "We developed hundreds of different systems, over thousands of years, each one designed to let someone small and weak defeat someone large and strong." Professor Zix 47, a floating crystalline being who served as the Academy's dean, materialized above the crowd. "What is the meaning of this disturbance?" Thoknavar looked between his still numb arm and the unassuming human who had disabled him so effortlessly. For the first time since arriving at the Academy, his voice carried no trace of superiority. "It was a misunderstanding, Professor. I was educating myself about human capabilities. Indeed, Anna said with a slight smile. And I trust your education has been illuminating? The Vraxian's mandibles clicked in what might have been embarrassment. Around them, students from dozens of species whispered among themselves. Word of what had happened would spread through the academy within hours. Professor Zix-47's crystalline form pulsed thoughtfully. The Terrans continue to surprise us all, it seems. Mr. Thoknavar, perhaps you would benefit from attending the Human Cultural Studies seminar. Understanding one's classmates prevents misunderstandings. As the crowd dispersed, Anna and Raza continued toward their quantum mechanics class. Other students now stepped aside respectfully, rather than staring with condescension. Think he learned his lesson? Anna asked. Raza rubbed his shoulder where Thoknavar had grabbed him. He learned something. Whether it's the right lesson depends on how smart he really is. Behind them, Thoknavar watched the two humans disappear around a corner. He flexed his arm, feeling sensation slowly return to his limb. In all his years of conquest and combat, he had never encountered anything like human martial arts. The ability to turn an opponent's strength against them, to find victory through technique rather than force. Perhaps, he thought, there was more to these mammals than met the eye. Perhaps that was why, despite their lack of natural weapons or armor, despite their relatively recent emergence into galactic society, humans were already making their mark among the stars. After all, any species that could turn weakness into strength, that could survive on a death world and call it home, that could face superior force with calm confidence, such a species was not to be underestimated. The alien schoolyard bully had learned an important lesson that day. Sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one who doesn't look dangerous at all.